Good afternoon everybody, and welcome to another out and about video. Now this afternoon, myself and Vicky are making our way up for a third time up towards Cob Castle. And for many of you who watch our videos on a regular basis, that name will not be anything new to you guys, because we've already covered two stories up here in the last couple of years. And I am slightly out of breath, I'm not going to lie, because I'm sure the winter months I've put a lot more pounds on me. So I'm basically knackered walking up this steep incline. But we're here, like I said, at Cob Castle, and we're going to take a look at the ruins today of the old houses that used to be here. I think from anywhere between 1840 up until the 1950s or so, before this community of people left and relocated elsewhere. God, I'm tired. But this video, like I said, it's not a murder story. We've already covered that over here. It is just a walk around these old ruins. So if you enjoy this video, I'll say it now at the beginning, but don't forget to give us a big thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to comment on the chat on this video and other videos as well. It means a lot to myself and Vicky. Right, let's take a breather and let's start investigating. Whew. Now this area where we're currently just taking a breather, and all the surrounding area, is still known as Hutch Bank. And just above the hill line, just above here, is Hutch Bank Quarry. We've got tons and tons of stories to tell you guys about the history of the quarry and the darker side of it, if you will, the number of accidents and tragedies and the way it was operated back in the late 1800s. But they're stories for another day. But what we're looking at here are the outer walls of Cob Castle. And there used to be a community of houses all along here. And just where I'm pointing just here now, which we're going to visit shortly, is the remnants and the remains of such houses. Now we do know there's some cellar and some basements roughly in this area, which I'm going to try and get into. I spotted them on the second video, I think it was last year, and I'll put links down below for the two videos we've currently done. And I was intrigued with that cellar back when I saw it. And I always said when the weather's a bit drier, there's less vegetation on the ground, that we come back and we investigate them cellars and those basements a little bit more. So we're going to make our way further up in that direction, take a left, we're going to head towards these remains, and we'll do some more recording once we get there. Now Hutch Bank, as this area is known, it had two communities living here. You had those on Cob Castle, which again is this pathway here, and which goes down in that direction. And then down below us, just down here, you had what was known as Underbank. And like I said, these were two communities, all in the same neck of the woods. Now these houses, as you can see from the ruins and what I've just shown you, obviously they've all gone now. Families kind of ripped apart as soon as the mills started to shut down and innovation with new technology came about. And all these communities, like I said, they abandoned these houses and relocated elsewhere out of town into the cities. And like I said, a lot of the old mills that were dotted around this area, they have long since gone. if anything, the 1 or 2 that are still there now, they're being used for a variety of things, like gymnasiums, antique stores, things like that. So at least the mills are being reused for other purposes, which is a good thing. They're not just knocking them down. Right, we're going to make our way to those abandoned and derelict houses now. Now this is where one of the basements is, which intrigued me when I came. Like I said, I think it was last year. But you have to be careful on the foot here as well, guys, because there is a lot of loose stones. So I'm going to try and get down in that little hole there, and it should bring us out in there. Right, let's do it. Now it's hard to imagine what this may have been back in the day. I'm presuming it is a cellar of sorts. But we'll put the torch on. Right, here we go. Let's see if we can get in. So some old shelf. Right, well, we're getting in. Only just, I have to say. Oh, we're in. Well, okay, so we're not going to be able to get through to that other side, I thought. But we're inside what looks like some kind of, well, is it a basement? Is it a cellar? But this is proper history. You've got the proper stone shelves. The roof above me, you can see, guys, where a tree branch is literally forcing down this slab. Luckily it's being held up by that. But yeah, I don't think we're going to spend too long in here. But wow. Like I say, you ain't going to be able to get in there. I'm not climbing through that. Looks like somebody's been keeping in here maybe. Or they've been burning something. Well, this is just one of the dwellings of Cob Castle. Right, let's make our way out. We do have to be mindful that there is a working quarry just above, just in that direction. So obviously you will see signs if you ever come up this way yourselves, guys, but you will see signs obviously warning you and the dangers of obviously the quarry itself. Right, I'm just going to make my way up to this ledge here, because there's some more interesting features you might find interesting yourselves. But yeah, this is probably the best part of Cob Castle itself, just this little area here, because like I say, you've got this, I think it's some kind of cellar, and I think you've got what looks like, I think the partitions from 2 different houses maybe. And I do have a photograph of Underbank which shows 2 houses very close together, and probably about a metre wide gap between the 2, but it's quite a length, it's quite a drop down between them. And what I'm looking at here kind of looks familiar. So I'm not sure if that is similar to the photograph, like I said, of Underbank, and I'll put that over the top so you can see for yourselves what I'm looking at. Let me know down below if you think it is something similar or it's the same thing. Right, let's get our way up there. So where we're walking now, along this, I don't know if it's, like I said, guys, I don't know if it's a pathway or if it's just where the vegetation has taken over. I'm not entirely sure. But you've got little, well, I don't know what they are. I mean, somebody like to point out what these could be. Like little cubby holes for maybe putting jars and food in. I don't know. I mean, again, that's slightly bigger. And then you've got these smaller ones. So I'm not quite sure what these would have been, and it is hard to picture what they could have been, because like I said, a lot of these foundations and a lot of ruins have just all gone. You can see an outer wall just there, which has been buried with this metal, whatever it is, metal sheeting of sorts, but you can definitely see some wall there. So again, was this somebody's house? Was this like the ground floor, and below us is the basement where we've just been? Were these some kind of storage facilities? Really difficult to tell. You can see all the rubble on the floor here, all the stonework that's collapsed there. Right, we'll just make our way further around, and we'll go to this second, which I think could be a cellar or a basement. But yeah, this is Cob Castle. I think a lot of the families moved out by the 60s, and obviously the houses that were once here have just been left to rot and to become derelict. And again, there's another outer wall and another one behind it. But it is hard to imagine houses being here, it really is. Now, we do have another photograph, maybe from this vantage point. And can you see where you've got this outline just here? And you can see the foundations where there was a building. Now, we do have a photograph of an old house that was situated something like this here. And I'll put that over now because it may well just line up nicely with this section here. But as you can see, these are what the houses looked like back in the late 1800s, early 1900s here at Cob Castle. Now we're walking down what looks like a narrow passageway where I think we'd have had a structure here and we'd have had a structure here. So yeah, so you've had definitely one wall here with the houses, and then you would have had another structure here with the houses, and then obviously you've got further accommodation there. But it really is an interesting place to come and visit up here in Haslingden. These old ruins known as Cob Castle. Like I said, it's years and years and years since anybody obviously lived in this area, but well worth a visit. Now this, I think, would most certainly been one of the main pathways up to the houses themselves, because where Vicky is now, walking down here, that is Cob Castle Lane itself, and it takes you all the way up to the very top and around Hutch quarry. So I think to get to these, what would have been houses here, they would have come off the path just where we've come and walked along here. So we're going to make our way over, if I remember rightly, I think it's in this direction, to where there is another cellar. This time it's not as bad to get into. But yeah, there's another feature here which has always fascinated me, and I don't think the GoPro is going to pick it up, but you have some structure directly in front, just there through the tree line. It is obviously part of the quarry. It's obviously part of Hutch quarry. Is it a crusher? Is it the former crusher, or where the crusher would have been that crushed the rocks and obviously did whatever they did in the day? But that's always intrigued me. Some people have often said, is that part of a castle? Which it isn't. As far as I'm aware, there's never been a castle up here, despite the name Cob Castle. But if anybody knows what that could be, or if there's any local residents watching this video who know more about Cob Castle and these little features, comment down below and please tell me. Right, I'm going to make my way down this way, because the cellar I was telling you guys about is just around here. More outer walls, so obviously more houses would have been here. In fact, we could actually be stood in one right now. Right, the cellar, which I was telling you guys about, is here. Now, we noticed this when we first came 2 years ago. I don't think we really need to climb inside it, guys, because you can quite clearly see from here just exactly what's going on here. But there's some shelving just directly in front. Not sure if the torch is going to do much difference, but just over there. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but when I'm flashing the torch, obviously some shelves. But yeah, because of the archway here, I'm presuming this would have been some form of basement, some form of cellar. Again, you've just got more, I think, what would have been storage locations. You've got another shelf just down in that direction. But yeah, interesting. And again, more of the original features falling foul to nature, and it's slowly reclaiming its land. Now hopefully you might get a better view now of how these houses would have once stood. So it could well have been it could have been one house just here. Front door maybe here, you walked in. This could have been a lower ground, that might have been a second tier. You've definitely got some doorway or something going on here which is blocked. Like I say, you've got that side of it. It really is intriguing, and it's interesting all the same up here. Right, we've got, now to me this looks like an old mining or rail line, perhaps from Hutch quarry itself, which is, again, I keep saying it's just in that direction. But why it'd be this far down, this metal, like I said, it looks like a rail line. But it is right underneath these stone slabs. I don't think that was part of the structure. I think that's just been obviously disused and left here, and over time the buildings have all collapsed around it and on top of it. But that, I think, what is most certainly part of the mining, or from the mining days. Right, we're going to go to our final location, which is just here, and you'll see a little doorway here. Now look how tiny this is. I mean, okay, it might be further down, I would have thought, but look how narrow that is. And people used to walk in these places, obviously going to and from different rooms. Let's put the torch on. But again, you can see years and years and years of original stonework, which is now beginning to give way, becoming unstable. Now, for anybody that might want to come over here themselves and visit some of these locations, be warned, just at the top of here there's a bit of an enclave, is that what they call it? A bit of an open space, and people are using it to smoke weed and drink a lot, and it's probably just the local teens from these neck of the woods. But we definitely heard it sounded like twigs breaking, didn't it? Just in that direction, just above us. Now when I were up there, I never actually saw anybody. I'm not saying it's paranormal, guys, I'm not going down that road, but we think there's definitely somebody just where I've just been, and I didn't see a single person when they're up there. Even though there's evidence of people being up there, there's bottles, cigarette packets, people have made purpose-built seats where obviously they're going drinking and whatnot. So yeah, just be warned, if you ever do come up here I advise you come as a couple or come as a group, because like you say, it is a bit sketchy, I guess. You know, you're out the way, you're in the middle of nowhere, but there's definitely somebody over there, which is it's a bit freaky. But then again, it might be just somebody else doing something like what we're doing. Who knows? It could have been somebody
homeless.
Well, I mean, it could be homeless. I mean, like I said, it could just be somebody just doing exactly what we're doing. So yeah, we just.
If they were, they wouldn't have to hide.
Well, I'm not saying they're hiding. I just might not have seen them, but to say a lot of the trees and the tree lines like this, you can see right through them, and I didn't see them at the time. It does make you wonder if they heard me coming and hid themselves. But like Vicky said, I suppose if it's somebody homeless or somebody who just doesn't want to be seen, they might have been scared themselves and decided to stay quiet and lay low till I've gone past. But just be warned, guys, if you ever do come up here and you want to have a visit, I'd advise coming as a couple or a group of people, not just on your own, just for your own safety. And again, I'm making it sound as bad as what it is, but I've never heard of any trouble up here. Don't get me wrong, I've never heard of anything, you know, serious happening up here, muggings and whatnot. But you've just got to have your wits about you, haven't you, in places like this? That's all I'm saying. Now where we are is known as Underbank, and from what I've read, you've got Underbank Well, which is there. I'm going to look at that in a minute, but I've just spotted this. Now, I'm going to see what's inside it, but straight away, you've got original, some kind of hinges. Oh my God, that goes quite high up. Let's have a see what we can see. Oh no, not that high. But look at this place, guys. Big slab across there. Let's put the torch on a little bit more. If anybody knows what this may have been used for, is it some kind of coal shed maybe, where they stored all the coal back in the day? Because like I said, you've got your cast iron hinges, so there would have been some kind of door here. But if anybody knows, again, let me know down below. Right, let's have a quick look at this this well, because I have seen this on several websites with photos, and it's coming out quite fast, isn't it? Flowing quite rapidly. But this is what they call Underbank Well, and obviously it takes you down the footpath. Not quite sure we're going to be able to get down there, which I was hoping for, which is a shame. But I don't think there's much else to see. It just takes you down the back of where old Hutch Mill used to be. But you can see on the floor, guys, it's just wet through. Let's have a look inside here anyway.
What's that metal thing inside here?
Oh, take that off. And again, you've got the water dripping through at the top there, but it's just, obviously it's just full of history around these neck of the woods. And I mean, obviously you've still got your original features inside, and they've not been in use for what, 100 years or so. But yeah, interesting all the same. And that Vicky's just warned me to watch out for that. Some kind of nail maybe, old nail. Obviously something's been nesting. But yeah, if you're enjoying this video, guys, don't forget to give us a like. Like I said, it might not be the most interesting video we've recorded today, but with it being a nice Saturday afternoon, we thought we'd come out just to Cob Castle and Underbank, just to show you guys around. Like I said, I don't think there's much in that direction. We're not going to bother going any further. It's just too wet and it's a bit dangerous underfoot. But yeah, we'll make our way back this way. and if anything else comes up in the meantime, we shall record it. If not, I think this video may be coming to an end. Now Vicky's just pointed something out which is true. The last 2 visits we've been here over the last 2 years, this has changed remarkably. And like Vicky said, it's been some kind of dumping ground for people. There's wires on the ground. There's a calculator on the ground, trays, bits of pottery, like Vicky said, and broken mirrors. It's like bathroom tiles. So it's like, and obviously you can't point fingers, I guess, but it's like somebody who perhaps does bathroom fittings and stuff like that, perhaps, who know that this is a quite secluded spot. They've just come up here and dumped all the rubbish. I was going to say another word, but obviously I don't want to fall foul of YouTube's policies for bad language. But basically they're just using it as a dumping ground, like Vicky said. All because it's a quite secluded spot. Now, the community of Cob Castle and Hutch Bank, it also disappeared into that direction. Not sure if we can get to that, so you see where it takes us. But it didn't just end here on Cob Castle Lane, or Cob Castle Lane I should say. It also went up and takes a right. There is a public footpath sign, but I think it might have overgrown. But there's definitely more walls and old structures just in that direction. Right, so I've had a look up this lane, and to the right where you go, it's full of brambles and fallen trees and whatnot. So we're not going to be able to get there today, guys. So with that being the case, we're going to end the video here. We hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, it's a something to nothing video. It's just a nice day. We've got a load of stories planned, but they're a lot more in detail. So we're going to go to visit the places where these stories took place during the week. But if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a big like, big thumbs up. Don't forget to comment and subscribe and share this video. But in the meantime, guys, as I always say, take care, look after yourselves, and I'll be back soon with another tale from a dark but glorious past. Take care, guys.